From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday here on LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you and the American people, mostly application-based. And if you pounce as a Purple Hawk under the third stimulus package, you're going to be ready to pounce under the fourth stimulus package. I have all the incredible great news in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the breaking news as the recon is getting faster and quicker and easier to get done. I have the new dates and the new details across the board. Stay to the final 15 minutes of this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up in just a few days, raising your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. And then we cut to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get, going from $20,000 to $30,000 to $50,000, and now one viewer you're going to meet got over $100,000. This is Noontime on LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the board. A new week
From
upon
LALATE
us
News
and a lot of
headquarters in Santa
breaking
Monica.
news. So stay with me
This
all week long.
is the
'cause
Midday
there's gonna be a lot of
Report
breaking news.
on
Thank you for making
LALATE.
Overnight's Crypto one of our most watched show, actually our most watched Overnight's Crypto show ever. And this morning's Morning to LALATE, our most watched Morning to LALATE in its first hour, I think, in recorded history. So we're on fire today. How are you? How's the weather? Is it horrible? It got bad yesterday, got muggy this morning. It suddenly cooled out. Someone blew the mugginess away. Maybe Ron Portman's blowing the air away. Jump in the live chat, tell me how the weather is where you are, and tell me where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news. We're going to go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. A done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. The biggest payout we ever see in the history of this channel. Mostly application-based. And if you pounce as a Purple Hawk under third stimulus, you're going to know how to pounce and get a lot more under fourth stimulus. Then we cut to the final 15 minutes of the video. Final 15 minutes of this video. Stay at the very end as we go over the great news, as it's going to be easier, breezier to pass the fourth stimulus recon than initially thought. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up if you are on SSI and SSDI. That's just a few days away from now as well. And boy, then we turn to the big money across the board as viewers get $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for rent, utilities, and food and internet, then heading to $50,000. As Mark got $50,000 for money, and we thought that's a ceiling, but today you're going to meet Lorraine, who got over $105,000 as a viewer and a Purple Hawk of this channel. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. Live now with you in Santa Monica. Coming up next is Afternoons LA's throwback show at 1 o'clock. You stay here, it'll automatically take you there. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like Chuck Schumer. Then at 3 o'clock is new Afternoons LA, and then new Evenings LA at 5. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link under the video for Purple Hawks, Purple Powers, and Calcino VIPs. Let's get to that monthly stimulus check starting right now. Senate versus House, House versus Senate, both monthly stimulus checks. Different number of checks and different amounts. Let's compare it starting right now. House bill is pandemic plus 1 year. Senate is July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House is $1,000 after the first month. Senate, the monthly amount unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Today, New York City starts day one of requiring vaccination cards to do certain things indoors, like gyms and restaurants. San Francisco will be the second city to do this as well. This is as the pandemic is far from over. And with the pandemic far from over, the House bill would pay the full extent of it. Pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks, which would be more than 1 year under the House bill, which would amount to more than $13,000. Compare that to this. And the Senate, I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump on the live chat right now and vote House of Senate, House of Senate. And tell me where you're tuning in from this beautiful noontime on Monday, and how's the weather? Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent, you do. If you got the third stimulus check, they represent, you're getting a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Welfare benefits, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you're at the Dodgers game and you're in the stadium and you see the wave coming on in, and then you're about to go, hey, wave, and you get up and you get down. And then you look to your side and say, there's the check from the beach. He's at the Dodger game. But he did not stand up for the wave. Road check. No, it's just not a waivable check. It's also probably a Giants fan. In the second half of this video, we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. And this is the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. But it's mostly going to be application-based. And if you pounce as a Purple Hawk during the last few weeks under third stimulus, you're going to really pounce big under fourth stimulus. I have the latest details on that. Then the final 15 minutes, stay to the very end. We go over the breaking news about the voting process, how it's going to be easier, breezier, and earlier than initially thought. It's great news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus as well. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen, paper ready, because we're going to get some rent, some utilities, some mortgage, and some homeowners utilities. When we start with rent, I initially said I can get you about $5,000 of rent for 4 to 6 months. Now viewers are getting more than 4 to 6 months for rent. Some are getting several years of rent. And now they're getting more than $5,000. How much are they getting? Are you ready? Here you go. $27,000 has been gotten by Purple Hawks of this channel, Purple Powers and Cow, Cino VIPs. Bam. Elizabeth, wow, $27,000. Mark, $25,000 he got for rent. In fact, Mark tells me he told his neighbor, hey, go watch that kid. He's the real deal, LALATE. And his neighbor went from $0 to $20,000 of rent over in just a few days. Nancy, $24,000 for rent. Richard, $22,000. And Nisi, $20,000. If you have a success story, send it to me on social media in private message on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Here are some of the success stories I got noticed about. Gonzalez tells me on Facebook he got $8,000 for rent in California. Congratulations. Pamela tells me $12,000 she got for rent. Carla got money for utilities and SNAP. Tiffany got SNAP, utilities, and $13,000 for rent. Randy got utilities and $6,000 for rent. Jennifer got lights, SNAP, and $5,000 for rent. And Cecilia got $1,200 for heap. That's a heap of heap. Well, let's turn to some utilities. Utilities is incredible. And how much are they getting on utilities? They're getting a heap of utilities. Bam. Whoa, there's Nancy again. And there's Mark again. They're going for 2 items. Nancy got $7,000 for utilities. Mark got $6,500 for utilities. And Angela got $5,000 for utilities. When we talk about SNAP, we talk about the incredible sums of money that people are getting for food and more. Are you ready to see the monies for SNAP? And it's not a couple $100. The annualized numbers, here we go. Bam. Deliciousness. $18,000, Louis, for SNAP. Wonderful on an annualized basis. Wow. John, $10,000 to $12,000. And there's Nancy. She got 3 items. Congratulations, Nancy. So let's see who else is with Nancy in the Triple Crown who got 3 items from this channel. Rent, utilities, and SNAP. Ready? Can I hear the drum roll? Bam. Oh my goodness, Nancy, great job. $32,000. Nisi, $23,000 for 3 items. Wonderful, great news. Good job. And Mark, $32,000 for 2 items. Mark, this is a graphic about 3 items. How did you get on the graphic about 3 items when you got 2? Let me tell you what happened. Mark got 2 items at $32,000. And I said, why did you not get SNAP, Mark? It's so easy. That's why it's called SNAP. It's like a snap to get it. It's very easy. And so for 7 days on camera, I said to Mark, go get SNAP. And he did. And I said, go get 8,000 because, you know, 8,000 makes it 40,000. Your grand total. I love 40,000. Lots of zeros. Don't you love checks that have lots of zeros in them? Well, Mark got SNAP. He got more than $8,000. He brought his grand total to more than 40,000. How much did Mark get across the board? Are you ready for this deliciousness? Mark got $19,000. $50,000 for SNAP annualized, bringing his grand total to $50,500. Congratulations, Mark. And this is LALATE. Now, this is what I've been doing since day one in April of last year. People's EIDL loan applications they had applied for were stuck. I called them the 330, the 331, and the 48 April March Vortex viewers. If you remember them, jump in the live chat. They need those applications approved, and so I helped them on camera getting those applications approved, getting $25 million of EIDL loans applications approved, saving their business homes and their employees' homes. And then in fall of 2020, I said there was $600 stimulus check, but it wasn't coming. I need you to get this big sum of application-based money. And viewers got $250,000 of rent. Tyrone and his family flew out of Boston. At the time, it was hard to get Boston money. He got $15,000 for rent, paying all his rent from December to May. And now you're doing it the same way. The only difference is, Purple Hawks, you're doing numbers that are absolutely incredible. You're pouncing with these application-based monies to get these big sums of money. And if you thought that $30,000 for Nancy or $32,000 was the ceiling, or Mark's $50,000, it's not. I introduce you to the highest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel for rent, utilities, and SNAP. Get ready. And introducing Lorraine at $105,000 that she got for rent, including years into the future, and food and additional sums of money. And this is what we do here on LALATE. Get the pen and paper ready, because I'm going to show you how to get this big money starting right now. You're going to be the next Lorraine starting today. We're going to get some rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance, and homeowner assistance. Let's start with some introductory items. Number one, I'm going to show you 6 places to apply to. Number one, the first one may say no. Don't stop at number one. Keep on applying, because each place has different eligibility. They also have their own pots of money. Number two, it's important to know that you need to keep on pushing, because if one says no, the next one will say yes. Number three, there is money in every single state. There's no state that's not applying, that's not paying. And finally, it's important for you to never include disqualification ideas in your brain, like they don't give money to people with purple shirts in front of surfboards. That's just not true. And finally, listen to the keywords I say in this video, because apparently it helps viewers get approved. You're going to reach out to the following 6 places: your city hall, your city house authority; your county hall, your county house authority; your state hall, your state house authority. That's where you go. And the keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's wonderful, incredible, charming personality. They don't know that. And there you go. If you got money for rent or utilities, post in the live chat right now. Tim and Linda got this wonderful money. Let's turn to some SNAP. It's a SNAP. Eligibility is very easy to get. It's easier than a stimulus check. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and a mom. Gail got it as well. Louis got $18,000. John to $12,000. Mark $19,000. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? From Department of Agriculture. The eligibility is incredible. And how much does it pay? A lot. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And if you got SNAP in the live chat, post it right now. We're killing it. You're killing it. $27,000 for rent. $19,000 for SNAP, $8,000, $9,000 for utilities, and we're just getting started. We're just at the 13-minute mark. Let's get some money coming back from your states. States have been ordered to return money back to you due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. It's landed by direct deposit. How do you track it? Contact your state and say, "Hi, state, where's that computer error money that's owed to me? And can you track it with a computer that's turned on?" "Oh, yes, sir, I will." Why does that sound like Sir Lloyd? Is that where he's been? And then finally, the return of the big money coming back from IRS on that 2020 tax return. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. And guess what? Close your ears, Mitch. It's a waivable check. I know that hurts. It's a waivable check. IRS says there's a new wave of checks every week. Average payout about $1,200 to $1,400. Mark got about $1,400. More about that in a second. But first, if you're in the live chat and you've not posted your success stories, whether it's $100 or $10,000 for rent, utilities, food, or internet, do it. Because when you do it, you do 4 wonderful, magical things. The spirit of this channel is me helping other people get money. And when you help other people, it's even better. You help people when you post success stories the following way. Number one, you help reassess people and help us refocus and realize, wait a second. $27,000 doesn't land in my hand by only eating a donut. I have to pick up the phone to get the $27,000. But I'd really like $27,000. And it must not be that difficult if we see these massive sums of money routinely being gotten. I need to do that, and I need to pick up the phone when this video's over and push, because now I see everyone else is doing it. They're getting big sums of money, these viewers. I need to go get that rent paid. And then people never realize that utilities could get paid by the federal government. Then people get inspired by you because some people never knew that SNAP even existed. Larry Mowry never heard of SNAP until he found this channel. He's getting $500 a month in single individual in Hawaii. And then finally, when Art Sullivan, wonderful person, and Nisi, wonderful person, got 3 items, they inspired the rest of us to get 3 items, because don't stop with 1, go get the rest of the 3rd. And finally, it updates us of understanding how the big numbers are going bigger and bolder than ever before. Let's continue with those unemployment benefits. When are they landing? This month. Where can you track them? Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And 70% of the time it will work. It will reveal the taxes you paid and the tax return you filed. And 70% of the time it will reveal stuff you wish you had never seen. Like when Mitch was on Star Search, did he really do the lambada? And finally, it will reveal the refund check he came back from IRS. Can we top that? Yes, as we go into the second part of your forced stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks, mostly application-based, are coming to you under the forced stimulus recon. Done deal. It's incredible great news, because this is what we've gone through in the past. First recon was this big. Second and third, also this big. They were nearly 90% consumed with money for corporations, leaving you crumbs. Forced stimulus, this big, and nothing for corporations. A lot of room to put stimulus checks in there. But most of the checks in the forced stimulus recon are application-based. And if you've been pouncing as a Purple Hawk and getting rent or utilities and SNAP, you have learned the skills of how to do it, because when forced stimulus becomes law, together as a family, we're going to pounce and get all that money that's mostly application-based. More about that in the final 15 minutes of this video. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by them taking roads and bridges out of the recon and putting it into the bipartisan. The President of the United States tells us that on his desk in the White House, he must have the recon and the bipartisan land at the same time. He will not sign one if he only gets one of the 2 bills. So it's important to understand how this happened. They took the roads and bridges out of the recon and put it in the bipartisan, making both now passable. A conservative publication confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges, and put it in the bipartisan, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan made the recon passable. And they made each other both passable. And that's why they both passed in the U.S. Senate. Next up is the House. Now, the progressives, you're only going to hear from this channel, had an idea of how big they want this recon to go. And while there's a vote set for the House for the recon, it's going to pass in 10 seconds procedurally. Because why? They already agreed upon the price tag before they started this process. The House members were part of the discussion with the president and the senators about what price tag. So the $3.5 trillion, it's a done deal for purposes of the price tag. Representative Richie Torres, a Democrat, progressive, said we have to have a larger recon. You got it passed, $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And Ilhan Omar, $3.5 trillion. We have to have a larger recon that goes as far as we want it. Passed, recon, $3.5 trillion. Well, how do they do this? Because the president told them everything that's in that recon is checks for the American people, progressive checks, protected. And that's what Jalapal and also Brian Schantz, progressive Democrat Hawaii, said. That, quote, the White House told them that they consider the progressive priorities in the recon their priorities. What's a recon? What's a bipartisan? What is a recon procedural? What is a recon substantive? Analysis you won't see anywhere else except here, starting right now. It's important to understand the separation of the two because the president says, I need both of those bodies of law on my desk, recon and also roads and bridges, to be signed at the same time. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? Let's go over that first. Recon and bipartisan are 2 different things. Your money is recon. Bipartisan is not your money. Bipartisan is the roads and bridges. So let's go over the details starting right now. Recon is also goes by the terminology reconciliation. Recon is also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion. This is your money, recon. And what is recon also called? Words like spending, the Democratic spending plan, or the progressive welfare spending plan. Bipartisan, not your money. This is roads and bridges. This is also called infrastructure, price tag 1.5 trillion. Okay, that's pretty easy, simple. Now let's go over what's recon procedural versus recon substantive. So recon procedural versus recon substantive is also very simple as well. Recon procedurals were passed in the U.S. Senate last Wednesday. It only asks two very simple questions. One, what is the price tag of the future recon when you do it? It's 3.5 trillion. Okay, thank you. And then of that money, how much are we going to give to committee number 1 in the Congress, committee number 2, committee number 3? Oh, we're going to give $10, $20, and $30. Okay, thank you. That's all it asks. And that's all it does. It basically agrees upon the total price tag, which everyone's already agreed upon, and then says $10 to this committee, $20 to that committee. Very simple. Once they pass the recon procedural, then they do recon substantive. And at that point, they go over, okay, now a committee got $10. How is that committee spending the $10? Who is it spending on the money on? What citizens? What duration? How? And by what means? And that is what becomes actually the recon bill. So who writes the recon bill? It's written by House subcommittee members. Under the Constitution, different subcommittees of the House are delegated different subject matters. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. They write those bodies of legislation, let's say it's 10 subcommittees, and they write 10 pages, combine it, send it up to Chuck, and he puts a big S on it, and that's your recon bill. S for Schumer? No, for Senate. But in the final 15 minutes of this video, you'll see that maybe the recon bill will start on the House side. Wow. How do we get to this wonderful spot? By Jalapal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, he did, and it passed procedurally in the Senate. That letter was signed by 10 House Democrats, part of 100+, who recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow, great news. Got to keep them to that promise. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee recently wrote the president a letter saying we're putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Well, Purple Power, you got to keep these people to their promise. Can we top that? Yes. As Biden did it 7 weeks ago, he went overseas for a ceremonial signature, the real signature just recently. And that real signature is for something that no longer has to go in the recon, making the recon easy breezier. So what is this confusing thing? It's called the global minimum corporate tax rate. It no longer has to go in the recon, making it easier to write the recon, easier to call the vote on the recon, easier to vote on the recon, and easier to pass the recon. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, coming up after the commercial break, a lot of breaking news as the forced stimulus recon will be easier, breezier to pass than initially thought. Then we also go into the application-based items that is going to make Purple Hawks very, very happy and in a great position, better than anyone else. I'll explain why you are going to be prepared to pounce. Then we got to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up lifetime. But first, if you need help with rent and utilities, food, or internet, here's a little bit about the community page. Remember, it's important to understand that going into fourth stimulus, I want you to get at least one item on the third stimulus. I want you to get like SNAP by yourself or utility. At least it's $100, $900, $2,000. I want you to get one of the things paid yourself. Because if you've done it, then you know you have the skill to do these things. I want you to get at least one item yourself. And then if you can't get the rest of the items, like you got one but you can't get the other two, then reach out to the community page. Where are they located? In the description of this video. Open the description, you'll see an emoji. Click the link, it sends you to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. On the community are volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll reach out to them. They'll help you get that big sum of money across the board, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the final 15 minutes of this video heats up on noontime. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on noontime LALATE with big breaking news about your fourth stimulus, recon, and fifth stimulus as well. How are you? I hope you're having a big, bold Monday. Thank you for joining me if you just joined us on this video. Live from Santa Monica, and the big Final 15 is just about to start. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for this Mornings LA, the most watched Mornings LA in its first hour in many, many months, maybe perhaps ever. And then Overnight's Crypto, our most watched show, went up 200% in viewership in 24 hours. Wow. On fire. So hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this wonderful family. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay on this video. When it's over, it'll automatically take you to Afternoons LA starting at 1 o'clock, and then the new one is at 3 o'clock. Meantime, the president, when running for highest office in the land, told us that he was going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. He did not deliver that, so now the Democrats are taking care of this for you in what's called fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus starts in just a few weeks. What is fifth stimulus? It is the SSI reform. Starts drafting in September. They represent they're going to get to a vote by November. If that's the case, then it hits your bank account in November. The benchmark applied in December for next year. How does this work? Step one. They're going to raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. Let's go over all the details starting right now. Who? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, Veterans Benefits, or SSA. Step one is they're going to raise your benefits up lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is inflation. It will replace COLA that hasn't done much of anything for anyone recently. And then that inflation rate is going to go transitory. What does transitory mean? A temporary spike in December. Wow, that's incredible, great news, because that's right when they apply your benchmark. How high is inflation going? I've been reporting about 5%. If I'm right, let's show you the analysis on, let's just choose that number 5%, for example, to do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply the benchmark. And let's say it's 5%, you'll go up another 5%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if the inflation rate is 1% the year after that, you'll be at +5, +1%. It's wonderful news. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And the marriage penalty is going to go away, and love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear loss of benefits. And viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and do a pair dance at their wedding. And finally, the asset cap will go away. And now that has prevented you from having more than $3,000 on hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks and also stay on benefits. And there you go. Fifth stimulus also will have another stimulus check those House Ways and Means members represent. And finally, if you're in the live chat and you have not become a Purple Hawk and you notice people who have a Purple Hawk emoji next to their name, what are you doing? You need to join today. Under the video, there's a link where it says join here. Here's how Purple Hawks are really rocking it. They have understood that the big sums of money into all these stimulus packages are application-based. When second stimulus passes a $600 stimulus check, I said, sure, don't focus on the $600 because you're going to get it and spend it. You're going to need more money than $600. And that's what Tyrone did. He focused and kept the focus, which I said under second stimulus, and went and got $15,000 for rent, paying all his rent from December to the springtime. And then, in January this year, I launched Purple Hawks to describe people who pounce and get the big sums of money that are generally application-based in these stimulus packages. There's no automatic check of $27,000 landing in your bank account, but there is $27,000 for rent for some of you to get. There's a lot of money for rent for all of you to get, and money for utilities and food and internet. Daily, the Purple Hawks, Purple Power, and Calcino VIPs are delivered from me to them via the YouTube community page. A breakdown of all the big money under second stimulus for you to get, third stimulus for you to get, and proposed under fourth and fifth stimulus for you to get. Because as a Purple Hawk, you understand that you need those rent paid, that utilities paid, that mortgage paid, and these are massive sums of money. And when you get these big sums of money, like $32,000 for Nancy, Mark, and Nisi, although Mark is now at $50,000, then you realize I can pounce and I can do it all. And when you become a purple hawk and you get these big sums of money under third stimulus, then guess what? You're ready for fourth stimulus, which is predominantly application-based. And with that, let's get to the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. The fourth stimulus recon will be the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel for the American people. The first stimulus package this, second this, third this, but the fourth is this big. And the fourth stimulus recon is all checks for you, while the previous recons were mostly for corporations. They're checks of all different kinds of items, but the vast majority of them are application-based, meaning you have to pick up a phone, meaning you have to go to a website, meaning one may be for dental, one may be for internet. The person who's writing your check for dental is not also writing your check for the internet. But if you've pounced and got money under third stimulus as a Purple Hawk member, you know how to do this when fourth stimulus comes around. And if you've gotten $20,000 under or $10,000 under third stimulus, imagine how much you're going to get under fourth stimulus that's this big. That has far more room to do that and a stimulus check. Wow. Let's get to some of the proposed items that are in the fourth stimulus recon. These are only proposed, they're not actually law yet. And I love that some viewers are saying, how do I get that? I want to go get it today. It's not law yet, so hold off. But I love the excitement of a Purple Hawk ready to pounce before it's law. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, farming checks, free internet checks, lots of checks for seniors and workers, checks for workers, independent contractors, unions, and lots of checks for seniors alike, vision checks, dental checks, hearing care checks, lowering eligibility age checks, and also clean energy checks. All right, let's go over the process now. The President of the United States has made it very, very clear. You have to put two bodies of law on his desk in the White House at the same time for him to sign, recon and bipartisan. You can't just give him one. He won't sign one. He needs both of them there. Well, the great news, as you saw earlier in this video, is that the recon procedural is effectively done because the progressives met before they started this whole process, progressives in the House and the Senate, agreeing upon a price tag of $3.5 trillion. So when they call the vote in a few days from now in the House, do you agree upon $3.5 trillion? Of course we did. We agreed upon that months ago. So that's sort of easy breezy. We have some new dates that have been released that are earlier than initially thought. Great news. And now you see that it's not only easier to get this passed, but sooner to get this passed as well. Let's go over the firm dates and the proposed dates. When you see an asterisk on this chart, it refers to something proposed. Steny Hoyer gives us a firm date for the recon procedural vote of 8/23 in the House. That's going to be the one that passes in 10 seconds. That's just, hey, do you agree upon 3.5? I do. Done. It takes longer to start the sentence than even finish it. All right, September 15th is a firm date from Leader Schumer. And that is the recon substantive for a vote. Now, why is the H with an asterisk? Because there's a proposal that the recon substantive start on the House side, not the Senate side. I love this. You heard this earlier in the video. Why do I like this? Well, the legislation is being drafted by the subcommittee of the House, so I'd rather have it stay in the House to start. Second, the progressives would always give you more checks than moderate Democrats in the Senate. Number three, the House Democrats just generally give a lot more money than the Senate Democrats. Number four, I like the House Democrats going first because it makes it easier, breezier to go into the vote-a-rama in the Senate, which may add more money on top of that. All right, 9/30 is a proposed, not firm, but a proposed date for the recon to be done. All right, so now you've seen over this video how there's a lot of room to put all this stimulus in there, but they still got to get it done. And so during that recon substantive, they're going to determine how the committees spend the money. That is why I brought back Seats for Stimulus. Hashtag Seats, the number 4, Stimulus. That's with 2 U's. It's important to push. And what is Seats for Stimulus? Seats for Stimulus is a campaign I launched last year, which people go on social media, share the videos, and tag the elected officials, say, give us the right stimulus, or we're taking your congressional seat. We're not reelecting you. Well, it's working because guess what? House members who are up for re-election in the next few weeks are really feeling the heat across the board. They're campaigning tooth and nail right now to get re-elected. 6 House seats are up for grabs. That could determine the balance of power from among Democrats and also Republicans in the House. So go on social media, hashtag Seats for Stimulus, share this video, tag elected officials, say, give me the right stimulus, or I'm taking your seat. Next year, the Senate seats are up for grab as well. 34 of 100 seats across the board. Finally, I'm really excited for you because you're doing an incredible great job. You've been able to refocus a lot over the last 7 days with me to focus on the big application-based money in stimulus packages. When stimulus started in March of 2020, most every single item was application-based. When stimulus number 1, CARES Act, was passed, there was an EIDL grant and EIDL loan in there. And people had applied for the EIDL loan, but they were not getting approved. They didn't know what was wrong with their loan. So I launched this channel to help inform people about how to get a stalled application approved. And I went over how to get their applications approved. It was all application analysis. And I went on air answering their questions about the application in depth, then off air, doing their private messages in the middle of the night to get their applications approved, 10 applications a day, sometimes 150,000 a pop. And that was day 1. Day 2 was we were looking at April 29th. April 28th, I knew was going to be the start of the launch of a new program, which no one had ever heard. It was brand new. It was called PUA. At the time, no one knew what it was. In fact, they were confusing it with FPUC. And no one knew that you had to apply for UI first and get rejected before you apply for PUA, and some states doing different. It was all application-based. So we focused on how to get approved through this application base. It was not something you put your hand out and a check lands in your hand like a donut. And then PPP was very big as well. Lots of application-based items at the time. Along the way, as we went into somewhere around January this year, some of us may have gotten a little bit too complacent and used to automatic checks, where you don't have to do anything, where you just put your hand out and instead of a donut, there's a check landing. That was never how the stimulus packages were structured. They were all structured with the biggest payout as application-based. And I'm so excited for the viewers of this channel because finally they've refocused and realized, wait a second, he was right. $1,400 third stimulus check, yeah, it comes, it'll eventually come. But there's a lot of money under this third stimulus package. He said $14,000. Look at these viewers, $27,000, $20,000 by 10 viewers over that for rent. Utilities, countless viewers getting thousands and thousands of dollars for utilities, not a couple $100s, thousands and thousands of dollars. And then SNAP, annualized, viewers not getting, $1,000 a year for SNAP, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, 20,000. I need to pick up the phone and get that money. And so we have live chats like Early Mornings LA 2 days ago, where one viewer was in the live chat said, I'm in Mississippi. I can't find anything in Mississippi. 3 other viewers said, let me show you. I'm from Mississippi. I got the money for rent. I love that. Then we have viewers that say, I tried one place and I got a no. I didn't try anymore. And I think Tina said that, and I think Sandy said that. And other people said, you need to keep on pushing. What's one? You should be applying to all 6. They have different eligibility. Keep on pushing. I love this because why? When you look at forced stimulus, when you look at Bernie Sanders' achievements over the last generation to get the big money in this forced stimulus, and he got it, checks of all types across the board for the American people, it will generally not be a check where you just so put your hand out and lands automatically. The biggest payouts will be application-based, like how you did on the third stimulus. And imagine if you're getting $30,000 under third stimulus now, how much you're going to get under fourth stimulus that is this much bigger. All you have to do is just get one item in a third stimulus so you know, I can do this. I got one item. So I know how to do this when fourth stimulus happens. And when fourth stimulus happens and you get one item and then other people are looking at you saying, how did you learn this? Just got to smile. Finally, a personal message across the board. I value your safety and I value you ensuring you get correct information. And what I've done in the last 7 days is make a modification to how comments appear on this channel. Over the last year, a lot of YouTube creators have had to deal with external influences, like people trying to tell you to WhatsApp them and send you a car over the internet from a third world country. All this crazy stuff. And we try to do everything we can to block these things, but we have difficulty doing it because they're very sophisticated, these people. So finally, I decided to do the best thing, which is hold comments under the video until pending review. If you're a member, your comments will likely post. If you're a subscriber, some of your comments will post. And if you're not a subscriber, they won't post. Here's what you need to know, is that what I also saw is the importance of you getting correct information. And sometimes this is what was happening. I was having someone who was a member that was saying, I'm 60 years old. I'm having problems finding money in Tennessee for rent. Can you tell me where it is? That comment would post, and then someone would float through that I can see that is not a subscriber, not a member, not even a viewer, and took pride in telling that 60-year-old person, there's no money for anything for anyone over 60 years old in the United States country, the entire country. 9 out of 10 times that viewer might think that comment is true and then not look for the money because they saw that wrong comment by that person buzzing through and buzzing out. So now those comments are not going to post, and you're going to be insulated in a correct environment in which you get correct information. You foster each other to really inspire each other to get big sums of money. And it's a safer environment for you to interact across the board. I've seen the differences immediately with this morning's LALATE being our most watched show in over several months on a morning's broadcast, and our overnight's crypto breaking all records, going up 200% in 24 hours. So with that, I look forward to seeing you next on Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock. And the great news is that's automatic. So you don't have to lift a finger, not even more than Chuck Schumer lifts a finger. This video will automatically take you there right when this video is over. It starts at 1 o'clock. Then the new Afternoons LA is at 3 o'clock. Then the new Evenings LA at 5. And then Sirloin. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video to 3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. The membership link is under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful noontime. See you next on Afternoons LA. Stay with me all week long. There's going to be a lot of breaking news. And stay with LA for more.